Okay. I'm Gene Basler. My blog is practicallystateless.com, and this is part 2 of my vertical axis wind turbine idea. In part 1 I pointed out that I got the idea for the buckets as the blades from Hydropower Tube. That's the name of the guy's YouTube channel. And I also pointed out that I'm apparently not the first person to think of turning a bicycle on its side. J.A. Luther did it back in 2009. He used a Savonius style vertical axis wind turbine. So my first version that I did last week was this 2-foot square, right? And I only had 4 blades, 2 buckets. And so I created an octagon and made it bigger with more blades. My thought being that I could catch a smaller breath of wind. Want to say that thanks to Go Vertical 17, that's the name of his YouTube channel. He's the one who said put lids on the blades, that it would catch the wind better. He's also the guy who was kind enough to repost my first video onto www.vawts.net/forum, VAWTS.net/forum. There was a guy there named Tommy G, who gave me this cool idea to build these. Let me stop it here. He said if I put a board here and create the letter J, I would catch the wind better. And he linked me to a graphic image of it. It looks like a really good idea. He's the one who also told me, instead of getting more buckets, go taller. And so I'm still thinking about that. I just have to put a bunch of screws in here for a more solid base. Then I put one of these buckets right on top of that. And so I could still have the smaller diameter, which is this board right here, and maybe get better RPMs with just as much surface area of the blades. And let me show you the last thing I thought of. And I'm sorry I don't have a generator on here yet. I got one coming. The last thing I thought of was to put up a bulkhead like this to shield the backswing from the resistance, because that's like I said, I thought that the backswing had a lot of wind resistance. And I don't know if that makes a difference or not. I stood here like this, and I thought that it spins faster, but I can't say for sure. The problem is when I stand here holding this board, I can't see the wheels. Well, I can see it like this. So I guess I can measure RPMs. It's definitely spinning faster when I'm holding this board up. Definitely spinning faster. Last week with the 2 blades, I got up to 127 RPMs on that wheel. So what that's going to translate to when I've got the skateboard wheel hooked up to the shaft of the generator, rubbing up against that tire, I don't know yet. My good friend Synaptic Transmission, that's the name of his YouTube channel, ran some calculations for me. And this guy SJH7132 on the VAWTS forum told me I ought to try a hub style alternator, which is a great idea, but it's quite frankly, it's not in the budget. And there was also this YouTuber named Koulailat, K-O-U-L-A-I-L-A-T. He said don't use an alternator, use a scooter or a treadmill motor. And I've thought of that. I've looked into it. Thanks for the advice. Anyway, yeah, it definitely spins faster when I'm holding this board up as a wind foil. Maybe I'm funneling the wind a little bit more over there. Am I doing? I don't know the principles of aerodynamics at all. If I hold this board cocked at this angle like this, am I achieving the dual objective of shielding the backswing from resistance and filtering a higher concentration of wind over on the other side? So, hey son, you want to hold the camera for a second? Okay. Okay. I guess I'm on my own here. I was gonna stand back a little bit and show you guys exactly what I'm doing with this board. Here we go. See? I've got the board cocked at an angle. Ah, oh, damn it. I think you see what I was trying to do. Info at wideworldoftrees.com. Of course, leave a comment on the YouTube channel. I'm also still looking for advice on a better platform because A, this isn't level and I can't keep it this way. I was going to take an old bicycle repair stand. I need something with a fist that can grip this here, right? See where my hand is? I need something that can grip there with a wing nut that'll clamp down and a nice big wide base, heavy duty base. Ideas in that department would be welcome. And of course, if anybody wants to donate an old alternator that isn't working for them, I think this design's going to need to go through a number of different alternators before the right one is chosen. Bicycle experts, is WD-40 okay? Because this thing spent some time in the weather before I bought it off of Craigslist. And I'm also having some trouble with the derailleur alignment. The rear derailleur was lined up and now it's not, and I'm getting a bunch of resistance there. You see how the chain is wobbling? Let me show it to you. That chain is really wobbling. That's because the derailleur's misaligned. The front derailleur, as you can see, I've removed. I don't really plan on changing gears ever. I got it in high gear right now. And it catches a slight breath of wind, so if I lowered the gear ratio, I'd get a better spin in the wind, but I don't get the tire moving very much. Alright, that's enough. Thanks for taking a look.